All right, Luca Nation, welcome back. Episode 850 of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo Mai. You guys loved yesterday's episode. Almost a record views on YouTube in like the first 12 hours. Lots of comments. A lot of people agreeing with Cage. A lot of people saying shows give you amazing deals. Honestly, at the end of the day, we're just trying to share our experiences and let you guys decide. And if those experiences allow you to make better decisions, save money, learn without making some of the mistakes that I made in the past and probably present, that's a win in and of itself. Welcome back. How's your day, brother?
The most common comment I got today from yesterday's episode, in some form of phraseology or not, is I love the Monday brain dump episodes. Literally got that from multiple people, because we're all over the place. You know what I mean? Like, we're all over the place. We're doing our thing, and the weekend happened. You were at a show. And I've had ones where I do the show and you're like, oh, Cage was at a show, sell everything, so it brings out different stuff. It brings out a different side, a different way of doing stuff. Plus, just sports crazy weekend. I will say this, right? So I'll throw a couple things down. You can take them wherever you want to go. Number one, weird sports day. Tuesday the 8th, election day. I did not win Powerball. Someone in California won it. And while California has the highest state income tax at like 13%, they don't tax lottery winners, which means they're losing out on about $130 million in taxes on that Powerball. Just an interesting little side note fact. They don't tax lottery winners. So one winner got the Powerball. Pretty crazy in California. No sports, obviously no more MLB. All right, there's no NFL on a Tuesday. There's not a basketball game tonight. They're off, presumably to let everyone go vote. So it's a weird, unless you're like a college basketball fan, or I don't know, you want to watch pickleball or something. This, you gotta hang out with your family, or just binge our shit. Let's go. Just listen to us. If it's 8:00 and you're listening, it's 8:30. You're listening. You're like, what am I going to do for the rest of the night? There's no West Coast games. Just find a couple episodes, man. We got some really good ones. Just binge our stuff and make sure that, I hate when people ask you to like and subscribe. So like and subscribe. I did that. And I hate when I ask. So here's my take. Lots of craziness in markets, right? So again, I'll take this probably 3 different paths. Number one, I try to do like comparisons of asset classes and just, charts that I see, you name it. I try to do a little sneaky essay. I threw up 3 charts, Bitcoin, gold, and the S&P. And, it's funny. A couple people wrote back immediately as they were using each one saying, this doesn't look like cards. Like, there's 2 spikes. Cards didn't have 2 spikes. Or this one does. There's not less volatility here. And then it's like, oh, I get it now. People were like responding as the stories were coming in. But then there is like a segment of people out there who listen to our show and communicate with us and vehemently oppose any mention of cards and stocks together. They hate it. Like, it's ridiculous. You can't do it. They're not like stocks. Okay, so that's one. Is that a hill you want to die on? Is it something we should stop talking about, the whole deal? That's one. Number two, different path here. Markets, a little craziness. Bitcoin down. We have the FTX stuff. Tom Brady, Steph Curry. That's like they're spokespeople for that company. It's a stadium. We have all kinds of craziness going on there. And then overall market malaise and scandals going on. And I guess my summary of all of it is, when the going is good. Remember, I said this when the going was good. There's communities, and the strongest communities out there, whether they're NFT or 90s Jordan basketball groups and Facebook, right? When the going is good, they got strong communities because everybody's making money and nobody's eating each other alive. But when the going's bad, that's when communities, that's when people, that's when asset classes, that's when hobbies, that's when, I don't say hobbies, but that's when things are tested, right? And what I've noticed is that there's a lot of people, and this is not just hobby, it's not just cards, a lot of people kind of going after each other. You can go on Twitter and see MT Trading and Darren Ravel going at it today about video games on the Rally platform. And it was an interesting thread back and forth. And Ravel's not backing down because he doesn't. And MT Trading makes some great points. It's not just hobby specific, right? The market. But when the market was going up, it's
Ravel's on the board. Ravel's on the board of Rally.
So that was part of what was being said. You guys, I don't want to, take the whole thread. You can read the whole thread, but it's just, I want to point that out. Then you have, the Panini kaboom thing that comes out of nowhere that I haven't heard a single breaker comment about. I haven't heard Panini comment about. I haven't heard any of that, right? When the going is good, it's like, oh, we're all doing great. Everything's spectacular. Prices are coming down. All of a sudden, it's kind of like, we're all going to eat each other. I'll lay one up for you. I don't think Nat Turner, in any malicious way, submitted a damaged card to his own company, hoping he would get a 10 on a card that was missing a piece of the surface of the card. I don't think he would do that, just like I don't think Gary V gives two shits about the price of a Devin Booker card. So that's my take on it. I don't think that it's done maliciously. I don't think that there's an intention of, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to go, and because I'm the CEO of this company, I'm going to submit a card that's damaged and get a 10 because of it. What's your take? And you could pick any of those things.
Well, do you want to give context? So FTX, it's a liquidity crisis. They're running out of money and they needed to be bought out.
Correct. Well, they were bought out, yeah.
Rally, Darren Ravel. Darren Ravel sits on the board of Rally, and he's also a big.
Well, I think he's an advisor, right? I don't know.
He's an advisor. Yes. Okay, that's a better word. He's an advisor to Rally, and he was a big spokesperson, as we like to call, for video games.
Right. And I think one of the videos that was sold on the platform was his. And I believe at the time it was sold at a market price probably below what other sales were going for.
So malicious is characterized by malice, intending or intended to do harm.
Correct.
I think these people are so fucking naive that they don't think that they're hurting anybody.
Well, but that's different. Malicious means there's an intent to do harm. I don't think there is any intent to do harm.
think that they don't even process in their heads that they're doing harm. I think that they're so narcissistic that they think that they are within their right to submit cards to PSA under anonymity and get better grades, because who gets harmed with that?
What do you
I'm
mean
a
get
collector.
better grades? What do you mean? We'll have to stop for a second. So the Ravel thing, right?
I'm talking about that now.
Okay, so but just to put a bow on the Ravel thing, he submitted it at a price. Had the market continued to go up, nobody would have come out of the woodwork and said, "Oh man, Ravel's an idiot. That game that he priced at 45,000, whatever it was, is $90,000."
I'm not talking about Ravel.
So
I'm talking about Gary and Nat, but I wasn't really talking about Nat.
So the Nat one. So what is your issue? You think he should never submit to PSA at all? Like he should just be banned from submitting to PSA?
I don't think that he thinks that there's anything wrong with.
But we're never going to know what he thinks.
Well, you said malice, intending to do harm. You don't think that they have malicious intent, intending to do harm.
Yeah, I don't think
that he thinks in his head that he's doing harm, because he thinks of himself as this true collector, and I want my cards in PSA slabs.
Okay, so stop there for a second. He thinks of himself as a true collector, and he wants his cards in the slabs of a company that he was part of purchasing and runs. There's something wrong with that? Like, if you were working for Coke, you would drink Pepsi?
No.
Okay, so then let's take it to the next part. Because so far, what you're saying is that he has a thought process that he's a collector and he wants his cards to be in PSA slabs. So far, we're good.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
He wants them in PSA 10 slabs.
Okay, so do I.
Right.
I want all my cards in PSA 10 slabs also.
Correct.
Okay.
And then here are the serial numbers, guys. PSA 689-88908. PSA 689-88912. 689-88924.
What are those cards? What are
just
those
go
cards?
and search those three cards. I have them pulled up here. I could do a screen share.
Okay.
Those
I don't know what they are.
Those are the cards that are graded by Nat. Michael Jordan cards. We all want PSA 10s. Right. Those cards are clearly damaged.
All three of them. I saw one.
All three of them are damaged. And then we talk about the Triumvirate Jordan. That was the one. Triumvirate that had like literally a piece missing of the card. That was a crossover job with a 9.5 sub, a 9.5 corners, a 10 edges, and a 9 surface.
So you saw it in a Beckett slab?
It's in a Beckett slab. Just real quick, shout out to Ben. Yeah, I have the Beckett serial. It's 00066874792 is what it was in a BGS slab.
You have a picture of it in the slab. Is that piece of the card missing in the BGS
Yes.
slab?
Yes.
So that surface piece is already missing.
Correct.
Okay. It's a weird card. Right? It's a weird
My
card.
issue is not with Nat grading cards with PSA.
Okay,
My
good.
issue is everything you mentioned. And guys, if you're feeling overwhelmed, annoyed, frustrated, etc. word, adjective,
And you need somebody to blame for losing money.
let me fucking go. I understand you, because all we want is a level playing field. But what we're seeing is we could submit a near perfect card to them and get a 6. And then we see 4 cards submitted by the CEO that are clearly damaged that get 10s. What we're asking for is a level playing field. We're asking for meritocracy. We're asking for equality.
Are we asking for a valid sample size? I mean, how many cards do you think he submits? Seriously, how many cards do you think he submits? How many?
I'm
so he
not
probably
gonna...
submits more than me. I've had cards damaged during the PSA process. Now, that's why I asked about the Beckett card. I asked, you said it was in a Beckett slab, and you could see that it was damaged. I haven't seen a Beckett slab. I didn't watch any of this stuff. I don't watch.
Why would you, dude? It's against your best interest.
No,
all you only own is PSA 10 slabs. So you will never come to the defense of the hobby. Either will
How is it to the defense?
Because it's against your best interest.
How? I own like 20 cards.
Because we know deep down that their grading standards are shit. But
I disagree.
The grading standards are shit.
I disagree.
They've proven it time and time and time and time and time
you
again.
Can't say proven. How have they proven it? What have they proven? Because you have 3 or 4 cards that you think have surface issues.
No, I don't think. I don't think that they have surface issues. It's not rocket science to grade a card. We know if a card has a dinged corner. We know if a card is missing cardboard.
Yeah, but how do you know
if the edges are damaged?
How do we know if those edges and cards weren't dinged or damaged during the grading process? Which, by the way, is not a good thing for PSA. That's not me.
All 4 of these cards were dinged and damaged during the grading process. They shouldn't be put into PSA 10 holders. What is so confusing?
Well, is that Nat's fault?
But dude, you're good. Dude, if the audience agrees with you on this episode, I would be embarrassed for the people. Seriously.
I think the embarrassment comes from someone who is losing a lot of money and looking for someone to blame. And yes, I think the audience probably also feels that. This is why Sports Card Radio and AIH and whoever else you're listening to these days are getting more follows, more views. You might even go on their show. Because misery loves company. These days, misery loves company. I won't be miserable. And I don't want our audience to be miserable.
What are you talking about miserable? These cards are damaged.
Okay, I didn't see a single card that you just put up. I've seen the one triumvirate one, and there's a piece of a card missing, which, by the way, no apologies necessary, right? If that's in a Beckett slab, that shouldn't have been crossed over. It definitely shouldn't be a PSA 10. But it's a weird card. When I first saw that picture, I didn't see what was wrong with it until I saw one with a circle on it. And I've seen those cards before. It's very weird. Die-cut cards with these little pieces kind of hanging off of them, the whole 9 yards. And should that card be a 10? Clearly not. But I could see how it gets missed. I can. 100%. Now, the other ones I haven't seen. You just read off slabs. I haven't seen. Are the numbers close to each other?
I'm limited because I could do a screen share, but I can't actually zoom in on the card on the screen share. So that's why I have the serial numbers written down.
But are the serial numbers like close to one another? Are they within a couple hundred of each other, a couple thousand of each other?
They're
like
within 12 and 4.
12 and 4 away from each other. So do we know how many like subs total were in there? It was 100.
Why are you overcomplicating something? Just pull up these serial numbers. I could read them out again and just look at the scans, and you'll see that there's literally chunks missing from the cards.
Have you ever gotten a 10 on a card that didn't deserve a 10?
I didn't get 4 10s on cards.
Yeah, but how do you know that wasn't by him saying that? You say overcomplicated. How do you know the submission wasn't 10,000 cards? And 4 of them were problematic 10s out of 10,000. How do you know this? You don't. So when you submit 100 cards and 1 card that you thought was going to get a 9 got a 10, do you call them back and say, guys, there's a damage on this card. I shouldn't have got a 10 on this card.
Cage.
No, but there's 4 cards that are damaged, 4 cards that have issues. What if it's 10? What if it's 4 out of 10,000 that were submitted? We don't know. So that's the difference, right? We can point these things out. We can say, oh, wow, these look like problems. But we can't just say, wow, we as the collecting community want an even playing field. We don't know if the playing
We're not
field,
allowed to say that?
we don't know if it's not even.
We don't know if it's not even?
No, not at all.
Okay, Cage.
Honestly, I'm being honest with you. No, oh, silly devil's advocate, the whole deal. No, I'm being honest with you because I've submitted a lot of cards, and we submit a lot of cards. You see cards that probably shouldn't have gotten a 10, and I know I'm not running the PSA and saying, guys, you got this one wrong. This one should have been a 9. There was a surface issue on this one, a print line, one of hyper. It's got this thing through it. It's this corner's a little soft. You shouldn't have given it a 10. There's a surface issue on this card. You shouldn't have given it a 10. No, that's part of the grading. Now, I understand your point. The optics are bad. The optics are very bad, right? And it looks like 4 cards, all submitted by Nat. I don't know if they are. I mean, I'm assuming you've done your research on this.
Nat Turner's registry.
Okay,
every serial number is under Nat Turner's registry.
So do you know whether or not he bought them?
No, he graded these cards, dude.
Okay, so we'll assume for a second, which I don't know if it's true, that this is his cards.
He graded these cards and he posted them on Twitter.
So if he posted these, that he got them back, does he have them in hand to be able to inspect them?
He deleted the tweet and said he's still investigating.
Okay, so
this is a guy.
Right, so what else do you want? He's going to get the cards in hand and say, oh, shit, guys, these are not going to stay 10s. Like, we're attacking before the cards are even in hand.
We're attacking?
Yeah. How do you know he's not going to do the right thing?
Wow. It's,
no.
If you guys are like me, I'm going to speak to my side of the Luca Nation community. I'm sure Cage has more fans, but I have a little bit of an itch. I think all we want is meritocracy, man. Like, I think we got into this hobby. We love sports. We love a little bit of gambling speculation. And we're like, maybe we could do something with our lives that's full-time in this hobby.
Wait, what's
meritocracy? And all we ask for is if I submit a card, if Cage submits a card, if Nat submits a card, or if Steve Cohen submits a card, anyone, that we're just giving an equal playing field. That I have as much of a chance of getting a 10 as Nat.
Okay, that's fair.
And what these moments continually show us is that it's not an even playing field. The chips are stacked against us. They're stacked in favor of the people who control the hobby, whether that's 100 people, 500, I don't know. But we all know, and we all see it time and time again, that a small group of people gets enriched because they have preferential treatment when the rest of us get stuck holding the bag.
So let me ask you something, okay? If Panini is giving backyard loaded cases,
Panini's his own piece of shit business, dude. There's redemptions out from 5, 6, 7 years ago.
You can't break, right? You can't break here because the breakers already know where the stuff is. And you can't break with anybody but Backyard because Backyard's the only one getting loaded cases. And they already know from...
about Backyard because I don't know anything.
Okay, but just go with me.
But this, to me, is very definitive when the CEO of a grading company submits cards and every one of them looks like a 3.
Everyone
graded a 10.
You know he only submitted 4 cards?
Do you not process it? He could have submitted 1 million.
Well, then there's a standard deviation. Do you know what that is?
Yes, I know what a standard deviation is.
So
they made 4 mistakes out of 1 million. No big deal.
Right. They made 4 mistakes out of 1 million. And he doesn't even have the cards in hand yet. And he's investigating it. To me, I understand what you're saying. The optics are not very good, just like the optics aren't good with the Kaboom stuff now, just like the optics aren't good with the Panini sending loaded cases to Backyard. There's no fair shake in the hobby at all. There's no where are we getting a fair shake from it?
The Kaboom serial number thing is completely unsubstantiated to the point where someone from our community has tried to follow that serial number pattern and they got fooled and duped. This is very substantiated when the CEO of the larger grading company in the space, the ones that we trust and we hold the bag on, submitted cards, and then you pull up the scans and you're like, this one's literally missing a chunk of the card. And this one is literally destroyed on the edges. The other Jordan Bowman refractor is missing a piece of the corner. Let me guys give you context. Go follow Dan the Card Man. He put out 2 videos, 10 minutes long. He did great screenshots of these cards. So because I'm not going to pull up the screenshots, go take a look at these for yourselves. I gave you the serial number just a few minutes ago. Look at the cards for yourselves.
Okay.
That is evidence.
So
I don't know about Backyard. I don't know about Kaboom.
That's not.
I don't know.
It's evidence that someone in the hobby who it doesn't look good because he's the CEO of the company got tens that he shouldn't have gotten.
Four
Evidence of that.
On the
I've gotten more than 4 tens from PSA that I shouldn't have gotten. 100%. I can say without equivocation that I've gotten more than 4 tens from PSA that I shouldn't have gotten. Does that mean I should stop submitting to PSA? Does that mean that I'm ruining the meritocracy, whatever that means? There's some merit in this that allows us to have the ability based on our merits, based on our, like our studies, our wisdom. We should be able to be rewarded based on our merits.
I'll give you a good example.
Sure, please.
Let's say hypothetically tomorrow, Apple goes up 30%.
Nice.
And I bought it today.
Mm-hmm.
I profited, and then people are like, yo, Andrew, how did you know that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'm like, well, I just got lucky.
There you go.
That's your 4 tens that you got. What if tomorrow Apple goes up 30%, but tonight Nancy Pelosi bought it?
She got lucky.
Okay.
Until I
That's
know
one fucking lucky fella. He should have been in California buying that ticket.
But do you have anything besides these 4?
Is there a pattern of behavior?
Yeah, there's a pattern in practice. Do we have? I mean, was Dan the Man Levitan with his videos? Was he able to show any other subs from all? I mean, Nat, he's got a Flickr account. You could see all of his cards up there. He's got his registries up there. He is the opposite of someone who's trying to hide what cards they own. Were they able to find 5, 6, 7, 8 over the years of cards that he has of tens that shouldn't be tens?
Guys, you heard it here first. We're going to table this conversation until that there becomes a pattern of this kind of behavior.
Fair.
What? How many times should this happen for it to become a pattern?
It should happen never. But if your hypothetical is, hey, I happened to buy Apple the day before it went up 30%, you're going to say lucky. People are going to say you had some inside information. You're right now saying he has inside information. I'm saying he got lucky. He
has inside privilege, yes.
But if you sell it the next week right before it goes down 25%, or next week you buy Google right before it goes up 30% also, I'm going to see that clearly you have some sort of insider privilege, some sort of inside information, maybe a third time that it happens, a fourth time it happens. I mean,
4, 5?
If those 4 are 12 and 4 away, it could be one order that was submitted to who the hell knows, and one person was just real nice that day. I got an order back, 57 cards. I got shellacked on it. Mostly 8s and 9s. Very few 10s on modern Pokemon that just got pulled out of packs in the last couple of months, right before the National. My son and I put them in plastics. I got killed. So, I don't think I should have got, we're going to say, because some of the 10s, I don't think I should have gotten 10s. Some of the 8s, I think I should have gotten 10s on. This is just, this is the subjective nature of grading. Those 4 cards, well, I don't want to say those 4 cards because I've only seen one. That one triumvirate, the one that has the weird slices on the card, there's a piece of that missing. That looks really bad. But I could also see that if all he saw were scans of it, right? Maybe someone submitted it for him. Who the hell knows, right? I don't know what the facts are. But if all I saw scans, I could see missing that. I can, because I missed it the first time I saw it too. And then I saw it with a red circle on it. I'm like, oh, okay, now I see what's going on here. There's a piece missing.
Before this episode, I would just say, like, this is just the hobby. It's the way it works. After this conversation, I would be more worried because the brass of the hobby, I don't know, man. They want to protect their ass. They don't want to lose their shirt. Like, maybe they realize that all this bullshit will come crumbling down because their PSA 10 Jordans are actually worth the same as a PSA 5 Jordan because there's no fucking difference.
Listen, it's a heel turn that you're making, man, which is great. It works in wrestling. When Hogan became, Hollywood Hogan on the NWO, people were shocked. He was this American hero. He was this gung-ho guy that came out with all the Hulkamaniacs eating his vitamins, and then he became Hollywood Hogan. And he wore black, and he shoe polished up his blonde beard, and, it was a heel turn. And it was very successful for them. I'm never going to heel turn in the hobby. You could heel turn.
We came here from one of the most corrupt countries in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I was sold like sold, like the American dream. Like I don't know. I just always believe that like if you work hard, you do the right things, this is as equal of a playing field as
So
you'll get anywhere.
let's go with that. How is a hobby something you're supposed to be buying cardboard because you like the cards, right? Something that if you actually do what I've asked you to do a million times, look at charts of these cards for the 10 years leading up to this crazy boom cycle we just had, where they're all basically flat with very little movement. Meritocracy, my testicles. There's no meritocracy because these things are not supposed to do what you think they're supposed to do. They're not supposed to do what they did in the last 2 years.
You're thinking of meritocracy of card prices.
Not prices. Not prices. You're saying the American dream. The American dream is not supposed to be sought in cardboard pictures of sports play. This is not where you're supposed to be.
I'm not talking about the cardboard, Cage. I'm talking about the business that authenticates. I'm talking about, you called this a hobby. Steve Cohen and the private equity firm bought it out for $850 million. That's not a hobby. That's big business.
No.
And the reason they did that is to line the pockets of the CEO.
I don't know, man. I'm trying not to count other people's money. I try to live my life happy with my own. I don't want to be in anybody else's pocket. Or
I'm not counting anybody's money.
If Cohen makes money and PSA makes money, that's all fine. I mean, to me, this is pretty straightforward, right? It's a hobby, right? There are businesses in the hobby just like there's businesses in every other business, right? I mean, to me, what you seem to be complaining about is that you want to get more tens so that you can sell them and make more money. That's what it sounds like to me.
Luca Nation, what do you guys think? Is that what you heard from me on this episode, that I want to get more tens?
That's the meritocracy that you're asking about, that he should not be getting tens when you're not getting tens, right?
Luca Nation,
you want an even playing field. You don't want somebody else to submit cards and get tens when you can't submit cards and get tens. This is what you said.
Luca Nation, you guys be the judge. I mean, we record this live on the air. Is that your interpretation of what I said?
If it's not, what is it? Are you just now becoming a hobby watchdog? You don't want to participate in the hobby. You don't actually want to make money in the hobby. You just want to be somebody who's out there exposing the nefariousness of the big businesses that are out there making money. So I don't understand where the meritocracy is there.
May I?
Sure.
So about 15 minutes ago, what I said was that myself, you, Nat Turner, or anybody who submits should have an equal chance of getting a 10. Okay? Because he's the CEO, he should not get preferential treatment on the same exact card.
So that's two sentences. Number one, you want the same chance to get a 10 as me and Nat Turner. It's one sentence. Two sentences, because he's a CEO, he should not be getting preferential treatment. Okay. Sentence two, you have absolutely no evidence whatsoever that he's getting preferential treatment. Sentence one we'll focus on right now, which
empirical is or like statistical.
I think they're both the same. Right, you have 4 anecdotal pieces of cardboard that are from the last week.
You don't think that doesn't qualify as evidence?
They're the same evidence as you buying Apple the day before it goes up 30%.
It's either evidence or coincidence. The defense would prove coincidence. Sure, you're absolutely right.
Listen,
we're not
this weekend.
That support.
This weekend, my phone was hacked, and because of it, I was nervous, and I sold Bitcoin at almost $22,000, and right now it's at 18. I feel like a genius. Somebody might look at that 6 months from now and be like, wow, how did he know to sell the Bitcoin right before it dropped 20%?
Can I just pause you real quick?
Please. Yep.
And you are the CEO of FTX. Yeah, but do you understand that?
Of course. Optics.
You're not an average person sitting at home trading. No, you are the owner and CEO of a business
what you have to do to link sentence one and sentence two is to tell me how many cards he submitted and how many tens he's gotten that he shouldn't have gotten. And then compare that to how many cards you and I and Joe Blow and everybody else submits and gets a 10 they shouldn't have gotten. And I believe sentence one is already proven out. I believe that over time, someone like him who submits a shit ton more cards is going to have cards that get submitted that get damaged. I've had cards damaged. I've had cards that were tens that shouldn't have been tens. I've had all that happen.
Okay, so because I can't put together full proof argument to take him to trial, just real quick, an argument that where I could take him to trial hypothetically and prove definitively that this happened, we can't talk about it on our show with skepticism.
We are talking about it. But what I'm saying is, I don't have the same thought process on it as you do.
Of
You're
course
getting very
you
hot
don't,
and
Paige.
bothered, but it's not because I have PSA cards that have
Of
my
course
cards.
it is. It's
my
the
cards,
same reason why card porn won't say a word about it.
dude. The cards that I own, their value is based on the fact that they are valuable because people want them and can't have them.
No, your cards are valuable because they're in the slab that says it a 10.
See, this is what losers say when they can't win. Today, you are a loser. Today, you are joining the ranks of people who have not been able to make it in this hobby because you wanted to make it quick. You wanted to make a big, quick splash and make that money, and you saw other people able to do it, and you're jealous and envious. And it's actually pretty sad. And you shouldn't take it out on somebody unless, yes, you have some actual evidence. Dan the Man has provided some evidence for you. Okay, great. Guys, go watch Dan the Man's
what do
video.
you guys think? I'm curious. Do I come off sounding as bitter and jealous because I see other people making money and I haven't?
Yeah.
Or is there something fishy going on when 4 really high value Jordan cards are graded 10 by the CEO of the company that grades these cards, and they clearly and definitively show significant damage to the cards?
Bad optics, 100%. Give the guy a chance. He says he's investigating. What else do you want? What do you want him to do? Seriously, let's make you the arbiter of this, right? You presented all your evidence. You even have some real evidence, right? What is your resolution? What do you think should happen? Should he not be allowed to grade with PSA? Tell me what should happen.
What should happen and what to Nat Turner specifically, to PSA?
In this issue right now, you've presented 4 cards that shouldn't be a 10, and you have taken that and made the conclusion that the hobby, generally speaking, does not have the same even playing field as Nat Turner does.
Right.
So how do you fix that? What is it that you want?
So my first thing that came to my mind, if I could be truthful, I don't believe that the prosecutor and the judge should be the same person. Like, I don't think that the person that's prosecuting or saying there's something fishy here
should
fair. Also be the one that's in charge of giving the punishment. It's a conflict of interest. I'm inherently going to be biased.
I love it. We're in a courtroom now, and I love every minute of it. Okay.
Well, that's what you're doing. So I'll step into that role and I'll role play with you.
Switch. Yep. Yes. Okay. So, but let's just say that we're in a society where you don't need evidence. You could just come and say whatever you want, and you could say, "Hey, look, I have these 4 things." I don't know how many it is.
How is the 4 things not evidence?
It's a coincidence. It is a fact. It is evidence. Sure, it's evidence. It's non-conclusive. Unless you have a numerator without a denominator. Do you understand that?
Sure. Like it's not definitive evidence. Like, I mean, dude, we remember the court case from 1994 where the glove was left at the crime, and that wasn't definitive evidence. So
that's
like
very different.
I know how you guys lawyers work. Like evidence could easily be turned and flipped and maneuvered and all that.
Very different. Very different.
If the glove don't fit, you must acquit. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Triumvirate don't fit, you must acquit. I get it, man. But so tell me, let's just assume.
But for the last 6 months, I've been telling you guys, there's something fishy about these PSA 6s. I've been getting them, subbing them to SGC, and my solo of the game got a 9 after I reviewed it because this is not a 6. Okay. And then I see the CEO of PSA getting a 10 that actually looks like a 6. I'm like, dude, how?
So remember, we're sponsored by SGC, everybody, so take that into account. But here's what's fun. Did SGC overgrade it and give it a 9? Is that now not? Should we now start talking about the integrity of SGC? That SGC took a card that's a 6 and gave it a 9?
We talked about the integrity
you have
of
a relationship
SGC.
With SGC.
We talked about the integrity of SGC when they graded the SGC 9.5 mantle, and we were like, could it be a 9.5? That shit was in a screw down for a very long time. There's still this little dot right there at the top corner. Did they overgrade it? Would it look like a PSA?
But did they overgrade your soul of the game? Like if I would just joke.
And we're sponsored by them, and we called them out to the point where they would walk with us at National, and we had a very long conversation.
So, but my question for you is this, right? AIH and Dan the Man just heard that you took a PSA 6, walked it into SGC, someone who's sponsored by them, and you took a PSA 6, soul of the game, Michael Jordan, and SGC slabbed it a 9 for you. And you probably sold it and made a lot of money from the PSA 6 to the SGC 9. You're Nancy Pelosi in that equation. You have an inside track. You are somebody who has a relationship with SGC, and they did you a favor. No?
Yes.
Okay.
That is definitive. They like me so much. Peter is actually a huge fan of me. I don't know if you guys have seen the Zoom call.
So I took some liberties with that.
Peter really likes me, guys. So yes. Also, I have 6 cards here that were perfect conditions that got 9 and 9 5s. This is his love for me. And that Will Chamberlain, we brought them as well. They really liked me after that one, too.
Story for another day.
I am living in riches here for all of the bumps that SGC has given.
You know where I'm going. I mean, we don't have any. Nobody talks about this stuff when everything's going good. And that could be 2 things. Number one is because everybody looks the other way when everything's going good. Or it could just be this stuff doesn't happen.
We talk about this stuff. We say V-Friends is super fucking fishy. And we're like, hey, Top Shot, when 1 million people get into it, and there's a
time to sell,
it's going to be an Eiffel Tower. But we also were like, hey, here's a lot of positives. We do a show every day. Some are positive, some are neutral, some are negative, some are guest episodes, some are, hey, check out these new industries. It's everything.
Well, listen, I hope that we provide painstakingly so a point counterpoint type of show. I hope that we're able to do that. And the reason I'm hopeful of that is because a lot of the stuff does happen in the shadows. And I think that is your point, that forget about meritocracy. There's a lot of stuff that goes on that we'll never know about. There's a lot of stuff, that goes on in the room where it happens. We're not on grading floors, just like we're not on trading floors. That rhymes. So go ahead and clip that up for us, guys. We're never going to know what happens behind the scenes. I'm never going to know whether or not 9 was made into a 10. I'm never going to know this. You're never going to know this. But what we can do is provide, I don't want to call it a safe space because no one would ever say getting on and having a conversation with me is safe. But if issues like this happen, got to give Collectible a little credit, right? I mean, we haven't done an episode for them in a little while, but, remember when we called them out, they came on and they talked about it. Now, we can't please everybody. Some people said we didn't go far enough in our questions, but they came on with the Babe Ruth stuff. They came on, they talked about it, and we actually, have a very good relationship with Collectible. We'd love, and I'm sure, SGC wouldn't want PSA on our show, but we'd love for Nat to come on and talk about this. And maybe he can fill in the denominator, and maybe he can say, of those 4 cards, I submitted 4,000 cards. Right, I got a lot of 8s. I got a lot of 7s.
If you were Nat, would you go onto our show or anyone's show?
Probably not. Probably not. Because, I mean, honestly...
Ari Gold once said in Entourage, deny till you die.
Well, I mean, there's nothing... I get that, and I love that point. I love that shit.
Lie like a rug.
No one's saying he's denying or lying. I guess what I would say is Nat's in a tough spot because literally he cannot...
Nat is in a tough spot.
Yeah, he can never get out from under this stuff.
A 35-year-old millionaire in bed with Steve Cohen, who took PSA private to line their own pockets. Do
you have a problem with the fact that he made millions at 35? It's an envy thing coming out. This is an ugly side to you, man. So
no. I don't have a problem with it, but I have a problem with your statement that's saying Nat is in a tough spot.
Regarding this issue and regarding grading cards, as long as he's going to be grading his cards with PSA, which, by the way, it's his company. I think it shows, obviously, not just brand loyalty, but he thinks that this is the best place to have his assets in. So he grades with PSA. I personally have a problem
so he grades with PSA. And here's what probably the more surprising thing. He grades with PSA. He's probably seen how many cards, right?
Lots.
Get scans, and these are high resolution scans. Like, we're not talking about scans from 2000. Like, these are high resolution scans. To get these scans, post them on Twitter, and not be like,
so this is the tough position he's in, right?
He's got a 10.
Right, so that's the tough position he's in, right? I mean, people make mistakes. He can't ever make a mistake. His graders make mistakes. He can't ever have anyone make a mistake. If it's one of his cards and he posts it, come on, the dude was probably out somewhere at a game or whatever it is, saw the scans, tweeted them out, and was like, look, I got a 10. Look at how happy I am. You think he would have posted it if he had any inkling of the fact that was going to be the backlash of it? I mean, he's not an idiot. He also doesn't need those cards in 10s. right? He can get those intents. He can buy those intents. Just like you said, 35-year-old, multimillionaire that he's worth. You think it's narcissism, and I get it. That is a reason why people would do the stuff that takes us around that he doesn't have a fiscal reason to do it. I get it. It takes the Gary doesn't need to pump Devin Booker things off the table if you call him a narcissist. My point, I think, is
why does Gary? Oh, so finish. So I apologize.
I mean, my point in this stuff is I don't think Nat can ever win in these things. I don't think so. Coming on the show, not coming on the show, like I wouldn't come on the show if I were him, because you're never going to please everyone. So why even try? That's kind of where I would go if I were him.
If we just go back to what we talked about, and I asked if the hobby is a zero-sum game, these scenarios leave a lot of doubt in that bottom rung of the pyramid that props everything up, that we even have a fighting chance.
Listen, I'm with you 100%.
Why does Gary do trash talk? We know you don't make money on the stuffed animals. We're not idiots. You show us one that goes $5 to $30, but you don't show us all the ones that go 5 to 0.
Well,
they never sell. That take up space.
But that's everything, right? I mean, do you have a problem with breakers in general?
Wait, what?
Do you have a problem with breakers in general?
Oh, because they show only the hits?
I mean, you're only going to see the hits. I mean, this week I saw all the John Morant 101s. I saw all the, I saw the 50 card booklet. All I saw were the great hits. No one's posting because no one's watching. Of course, he's going to show you the video, and you're going to get it on your feed, a video of him making $5 to $30 because that's what people want to watch. That's the one that hits. That's the one that has the hit in it. I'm sure Backyard Breaks, 90% of the break videos they have are crap. Just not seeing them. So, I mean, that's content, right? So I get it. I truly do. And listen, I'd love for Nat to come on. I doubt he ever will, and I would understand why he wouldn't. But I mean, it is sort of like a back and forth, safe space kind of, deal. I think. I mean, I try.
I don't think he would benefit by coming on any show. What is he going to say?
Oh, I mean,
but his silence speaks louder.
The tough part is not to me. I know where you came from, and I know you think the American dream's not here anymore. But you know what also gets lost in the shuffle?
I didn't say the American dream's not here.
The benefit of the doubt, man. The benefit of the doubt's also gone, and I get it. I understand. With what we're looking at here, it's difficult. It's difficult because there's 4 cards in what looks like the same order that look pretty bad, and I get it. And we don't have anybody coming out with anything on the other side. But to me, right, this is someone who's been in this hobby for a long damn time and has no,
this is someone who's been raping the hobby for a damn.
That's what you say. That's what you say because it's an easy thing to say. It's an easy thing to say. It's to be angry at people who are successful. And he's been here a long time. And I implore you to take a second and think about whether or not you've ever heard anything like this about him before. Because I can't come up with one. I can't come up with a situation where he has been called out on doing something that was untoward, right? And I don't know that this is the first. I know this doesn't look good, right? But it's one of those things where I always want to give the benefit of the doubt because, dude, I mean, you could potentially be added to a scammer list. Maybe that could happen. And what my hope is that people who know you and have dealt with you would say, no, I've known Andrew. I've known him in the hobby for a year, 2 years. He's never scammed anyone before. I have a bunch of deals with him. No way. The other guy is the one who's the scammer, and they'd come to your defense, even though maybe it doesn't look so great for you in that one instance.
That literally happened.
I know it happened. That's why I'm saying it. But imagine if that first time around, when you were added to a scammer list, people were like, no, look what he did. Screw that. Look what he did. I don't care that he has a track record.
Do you remember what I did? I was in those forums all day. I was like, here's the proof. Here's the proof. Here's what's going on. Here's the proof.
You wanted to make a video and come out and tell the whole world how angry you were and because you want to just make videos about how angry you are.
No, I don't just want to make videos. Sometimes I want to make motivational, inspirational videos. Sometimes I want to teach lessons about business that I'm going through.
So what are you inspiring people
about Lisa and giving free tea at the Alex Card Show and taking
people
care
love
of
Lady Lisa, by the way.
She was incredible because she cared about people.
I got a lot of comments. Be nice. Lisa brought me tea also.
Did she really?
No one said that to me.
Oh, she was amazing.
Listen, dude, I love this. Nat, I'm defending you here. I'm defending you. I don't have an SGC. I got a Bleaker shirt on. I could have wore an SGC shirt on this one. I'm defending you here because I have no reason not to. But this
I'll leave you with one question.
It doesn't look great.
and just answer this like a fucking human, not like a lawyer with 20 years of
Sorry,
training.
I'm a human lawyer. That's what I am.
If Nat submitted your Pokemon, Charizard PSA 9 First Edition,
what do I think happens?
Yes.
I think it comes back a 9, just like mine did. Because he showed me why it was a 9.
Love you,
and
Luke.
I give him a lot of credit for that.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo Mai. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and their secondary market values are going up day after day after day. And that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luca Nation.